Okay, take three. Welcome to the January 2021 meeting of the Doylestown Township Public Water Sewer Advisory Committee. First order of business is the reorganization of the committee, primarily three positions: chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. It is with great reluctance that I have to accept Mr. Canterbury's resignation as vice chair. He's willing to still stay on the committee, which is great because he's been a great contributor. But he's decided to spend most of his time in Florida.
A good portion of.
So let me begin. We'll go right down the line. Is there anybody who is interested in taking over the role of chairperson? And if not, I would be more than happy to continue in the role. But if there's someone who just would love to have that job, let me know. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So with regard to that, I need a nomination with regards to retaining the position as chairperson.
I nominate.
I second.
Any objections? Okay, we'll move on. I need someone to fill in and take over John's role as the vice chairperson. Now, if you know from history, it's very rarely that I'm not here. And even when I'm traveling, especially with the Zoom, I've always managed to take part in the meetings. But we do need somebody that can take over the role in case I'm absent.
I'm happy to do it.
I'm sorry?
I'm happy to do it.
Bob? Great.
Great.
We need a nomination.
Hang on. So I will make the nomination to nominate Bob Schaefer as vice chairperson of the Public Water Sewer Advisory Committee.
I'll second.
Got a second by Wally. Is there any objections? All in favor? Wonderful. So there's last position. We really do need a secretary. I do fill in and take the meeting minutes, and we've tried shuffling it around, but it would really behoove us to have a dedicated secretary to be willing to take the meeting minutes. It's really not that complicated. They don't have to be word for word. It's really, if you take a look at the minutes that I share with you, they're really bullet points with topics that are discussed during the meeting, taking a roll call of who's attending, and especially if we have any guests. So is there anybody that would be willing to step in the role of secretary? All right, if I don't have anybody who's willing to do that, then it will have to be a rolling person. Every meeting, it will have to be a separate individual. And I will let you know it will not be me, because trying to chair the meeting, organize things, and do the follow-up, amongst other things that I'm involved with, I'm putting it on all of the members then of the committee to have to share the responsibility of taking the meeting minutes.
Okay.
Okay?
Joe, I'm willing to take them for this meeting. I'd rather not commit to doing it every single meeting, but I'm willing to do them for this one if you'd like.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. But the next meeting, it's going to be somebody else besides Jenny. So get ready. Okay, that being said, we will pass on having a dedicated secretary. Let's move forward to the meeting minutes from November. Is there an approval for the November meeting minutes?
I so approve.
Is there a second? Second, Bob, second. All in favor? Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there are no guests this evening.
Introduce,
Oh, yes, actually, we do have up in the Brady Bunch screen here in the upper left corner. What was the other show? What was the show?
Family.
No, there was a show with
Brady
we had
Bunch.
tic-tac-toe.
Oh, tic-tac-toe, yeah.
Whatever.
Hollywood Squares.
Yes.
Oh, Hollywood Squares.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the youngest person in here knew that.
Yeah. I just want to introduce to the committee Aaron Walzer. He's our new special projects coordinator. Comes to us with a master's degree in public administration from Villanova. Has military experience and law enforcement experience as well. And he's jumping into the role and will be handling the septic management program. Also, I just want to share with the committee that we did receive Gary Monklet's resignation from the committee after 15 years of service. It is resignation, and the board acted on it the other night at their meeting on Tuesday. It came in and your timing of the meetings and everything, but he'll be missed. He'll be sorely missed. His contributions have been very generous for the committee and of his time. So I just wanted to share that with everybody.
I'm gonna reach out personally to Gary and then also send him a card on behalf of our committee, because to Stephanie's point, Gary's been one of the members that's gone above and beyond helping research a lot of the different alternatives when we were looking at the sewer projects before. So he'll be sorely missed.
He will be. He was a good guy. He still is.
So we have an opening then in the.
We do. You have 2 openings, actually.
Okay.
I might like to add, I think that's a health consideration more than a lack of interest.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right, John. His health has been an issue. So
And so we do have 2 openings, as Stephanie just mentioned. So if anybody knows of anybody who might be interested in serving on our committee, if you want to have them contact Stephanie or myself, so we can present them to the Board of Supervisors. All right, next item on the agenda, Stephanie, do you want to give a quick update on the Pebble Ridge Woodridge project?
We're still moving along with the project. They are continuing to install the sewer lines. We continue to update usually Friday or Monday when they send over the stuff. We put it up on our website under information, Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority. The information is there. They're anticipating to be done in the main neighborhood in the next few months, and of course Alms House and Doe Run and that area later in the year, but probably all wrapped up in 2021. The township continues to move forward with our storm drainage replacement, curbing work, and base paving, and we'll be probably doing the wearing top on some of the streets as well on the Pebble Ridge side, because they were done like almost in 19, so we're coming up on 2 years with that. And then Keith is here, and the water is also being installed, and they're making good progress. So, hopefully we see this wrap up later this year. Fingers crossed. And they are about 90 days behind overall, but they did give us a new progress map, which we did post on the website. It shows what areas have been completed and what still needs to be done. So
Current target wrap-up date is April from our last meeting with John Butler.
They said they're 12 weeks behind, but they're gonna be able to pick some of that up.
The weather is good, so they may be, I think they'll just keep in pace. They continue to hit a lot of rock and everything, so, they're just doing the best they can to get through it.
Keith, you want to add anything on the public water side?
Sure. Yeah, some of you may know, but public water has been installed on multiple streets. Stony Lane Circle, we started, and then we extended from a dead end on Willow Lane, as well as we completely installed water the entire run of Westaway Lane. And just this week, we just completed Old New Road, the entire length of Old New Road, as well as David's Way. So services are there. We're receiving some connection fees. I don't think anybody's connected yet. We have 3 or 4 that are going to connect at the same time along Westaway Lane. So a lot of the residents are looking to team up and install the water at the same time as they install their
Yes.
sewer laterals. So we're anticipating being very busy in the spring here with connections. You'll see some signs out on Lower State Road. We're going to install the water main from Brinker Drive, our other dead end on this project, and then we'll connect that into Old New Road. And we'll have a fully looped system for those neighborhoods back there. So project is going well. Weather has been very good, very cooperative. No rain for 2 or 3 weeks, so no snow. So they're making really good time. And I think Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority jumped out into Buck Road today. So they're back on Buck Road. So that's a road that we have to complete as well. So we'll be coordinating with Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority with the completion of that. But again, anybody interested in public water and you live out there, come on down.
Now, is it public, you have to use the private contractor to hook up?
Yes, yes. DTMA and Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority will only install the copper service or the plastic sewer lateral to basically the property line.
Okay.
And then it's on the homeowners to connect to that stub and run it inside their house.
Do we have a contractor that has quoted on multiple?
Yeah, we're not allowed as a township or an authority to recommend private contractors. So,
Yeah.
but the homeowners out there know who to use. They see the signs in the lawns. So we're just, we have to stay out of the
I understand.
recommend.
What's the going rate on household connectors?
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe, Jenny, are you getting a sewer connection? Are you doing, I know you're not doing water. Are you doing sewer? Are you connecting to the public sewer? She might know better than I.
Yeah, my husband would know the quote better. I want to say it was around 8,000. I kind of forget
8,000,
actually.
Yeah, that sounds about
And
right.
we did get one quote.
That sounds about right. I'd say, and.
Per pipe?
Yes.
In and out, 8.
Generally, what I'm hearing for water is around 4,000.
Right.
But you don't have to go as deep. So I think if people are connecting, they're getting a better deal if they install both.
Yeah, he would, one hole.
One hole, right, one trench, right?
That's right.
Okay, well, I appreciate the update there. Thank you. Stephanie, you did, after our last meeting, you communicated our discussion about regarding the map over to Bucks County Water and Sewer.
I did.
Anything further
I
on
have
that?
not heard anything further from them on this, so I'm assuming they're gathering right now. They're working on their waste load reports from all the municipalities, and basically what that does is like what developments are coming. So they want to know what projects are under construction, how many EDUs the project is utilizing, what projects are in the planning phase that might require public sewer. So I just, shared that with them on projects that, are occurring and may occur in the planning phase.
Have they
So
provided an overall timeline regarding the
they haven't,
project?
they haven't. I can reach out to them and see where they are.
And is there anything further that this committee you foresee at the moment?
Not anything at the moment, because I guess with COVID and everything, we're gonna have to get creative with how do you do public meetings, and how do you get this information out there and how they're gonna do that. If we continue the way we are. I know that the Bike and Hike Committee, Baker Engineers has put together a whole virtual room that it's very high tech for a project that we're doing and with the borough. It's just a feasibility study, and they've done a whole virtual room the PennDOT's talking about doing a virtual meeting or presentation for the roundabouts. I haven't got dates and stuff like that. I know EPA is talking about doing a virtual meeting in February for the ChemFab facility in the borough. So everybody's trying to do virtual. We're trying to do virtual meetings with our Park Rec community center building, trying to do them in like neighbor groups and then eventually large scale public meetings. And, you know, that's difficult on, you know, this kind of situation. You know, they have to do like Zoom webinar or something. So.
But let's start at least see if they can give us some sort of a
Mhm.
schedule.
Okay.
If we have to have a public meeting, is there a certain amount of people that have to attend?
Have to attend? No. It's really
Yeah.
providing the opportunity for as many people as possible to attend.
But I'm saying-
My rule of thumb, if we invite 600 people to a meeting, we'll get 10%.
But I mean, would we have to, is that the same way we do this for this? We invite them to a Zoom?
They would be invited to a Zoom or a room or something, you know, some sort of virtual meeting. Because, you know, if we go back, it would be a meeting set up here. It might be what they call an open house. And, you know, they would set up with easels and they would do a presentation, and you might have it be from, you know, 5 to 8 and, you know, with presentations at, you know, 5:30 and 6:30. So you can come in, see everything, hear a presentation at 5:30 and leave, and then you could come later. You know, that's how they did it with like the 202 Parkway stuff and other things like that. That's typically how they would do a public meeting, you know, but this is, you know, becomes very cumbersome and difficult to, you know, promote and get people to participate and everything like that.
Does anybody else have any comments or questions regarding where we're at in the 537 plan? Okay. All right, let's move on to our main topic that we've been getting ready to discuss, and that's on the private wealth educational program for the township. Has anybody had an opportunity to go online, research out any materials? Nope.
Joe, you had suggested some sites to go to, but I had not written them down at that meeting. And I've not heard back from either you or others as to what those sites were. I would be interested in.
Okay, that I can share.
Yeah, please.
Joe, are you the one that sent this, or was this Stephanie?
I sent that.
This was very good.
Yeah, that has some of the links in there also.
Yeah, that's,
I will send that out. And then the one thing I started to do, you know, since as the holiday ended, is I've reached out to a couple of the water softener, water guys in the area who install water softeners. They install the ultraviolet lights and whatnot, just to try to get some feedback from them as to you know, stuff that we could add to in educational materials. So I have some follow-up to do there. The other topic that's come up regarding COVID-19 is, and Stephanie, you brought this up to me about the possibility of some grants coming up for studying the COVID-19 in wastewater
Yeah, that's.
in some of the streams and the outlets.
Actually, it's a program I saw on LinkedIn. I'm a graduate of Michigan State University, and they announced that they received grant money to actually study COVID-19 in wastewater. So it'll be interesting. It's a big university in East Lansing, Michigan, and they're going to study that. And it'll be interesting to see what information they gather, and we'll be able to, you know, publish and share.
That's interesting, I think, because not only could it apply to COVID, but influenza or other viruses.
Yeah. So
Stephanie, I think the state received some grants as well.
Mhm.
And we sat in on a webinar this week
Yeah.
sponsored by the Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Act.
Mhm.
And there was some discussion about the same topic. And it does look like there's going to be some money available for, they don't know, it'll be disseminated through the state, so they don't know who will get it. Townships, authorities, sewer companies, who's going to get that money to actually do the study.
Mhm.
I think the question is, what are we going to get out of it? That's what we're going to, what's the end game? Okay, if it's in the streams,
How do you clean it up? Yeah.
or do you? So
Well, some of it may go, where I'm looking at it is from, we used some of those studies on fecal coliform.
Yep.
In the Pebble Ridge, Woodridge area, and also some of the other areas that we've studied
yeah,
to show that failing on-lot
as
systems
an indicator.
or malfunctioning on-lot systems can end up releasing, that stuff into the streams,
And into the wells, yeah.
into well water also, right? So in this case here, if you can have fecal coliform released that way, there's maybe a chance that you can end up having the virus also.
Okay.
Joe, that was one of my big points comparing septic systems, on-lot treatment compared to municipal, and wells compared to city water is on-lot systems do not disinfect their discharge, nor do well waters, by and large, disinfect the water being brought in.
So again, that goes towards part of this education thing that we're looking at.
Yeah, and in speaking to the education thing, as part of the SMP, we require residents to have their well water tested when they get their septic system pumped out once every 3 years. And cycle 2 that was occurring in 2020 got an extension because the Bucks County Health Department stopped taking the well water sample test. They stopped doing that. And so as a courtesy, the board extended everybody to March 31st in cycle 2 to submit their information for both, and we did a mailing and trying to remind everybody of the March deadlines and everything. And one of the things Aaron has done since coming on board is he's done a comparison of the pricing. So, mostly everybody's relied on the county to do the testing because it was inexpensive. It was, I think, $25. And, the private companies tend to be a little bit more. Now, he has some new data, and I think he's going to share that with us. Right, Aaron?
Yeah, I can share that information. So I did call the entire list of approved testers for us, and by and large, the prices range from a low of $25 up to $80 for a fecal coliform test. The majority, however, are in that $30 to $40 range. But if someone is budget conscious and shops around a little, they'll be able to find out there's a couple providers that are at the same exact cost as the county water test. And they function in a very similar manner too, where you go pick up a jar, take it home, fill it up, and bring it back.
Are they far, Aaron? Do you know? Are they far from, say, Doylestown Township? Are they?
Most of them do have a local office within about 10 miles.
Okay. So, because I guess, the big thing will be that come March 31st, all of cycle 2, and we're into cycle 3 now, who will have to comply by the end of the year. We want to be able to promote that, and maybe we get a recommendation from this committee as to whether to extend the submission of the data again, or does this committee recommend to the board that we continue to because I think we brought this up before when Andrew was here, before she left, when the board extended it. Should we, say, okay, March 31st, that's it. There's other ways to go about getting your well water tested. And so for fecal coliform, so we should have everybody start to do that data and get those tests done and bring it back. I'm just asking for some direction here that we
Well,
can
a
give the
couple things.
board.
One is it out of line for the township to maybe go to one or two of these providers and say, hey, if we list you as a recommended, or approved testing agency for the township, can you give us a better rate? Here's how many thousands of people that are in the township. They're all, everybody's mandated to get their water tested every 3 years. On average, every cycle, here's the amount of people that, here's the amount of extra business you could be getting.
Yeah, I think to be fair, we would probably want to reach out to all that have already registered with us as a, as a provider. I wouldn't want to single out one over the other. I think you give them all that opportunity, and let them know that the health department is no longer providing this service, and that the majority of people utilize that. And we have in cycle 2 and 3, we have X number of properties that need to comply with the ordinance. And, if you could provide us some sort of discount because of COVID, we would share that with all of our residents.
Hey, just something. I mean, the
But I don't
$30 to
think
$40 range sounds, $30 over 3 years, $10 a year. Seems like it's
But it's only
reasonable.
for fecal coliform.
It's only for fecal
Right.
coliform. We're not testing. I mean, people can pay more in tests for
Right,
whatever.
that's the
but-
current
Yeah,
Yeah.
guideline.
and this study showed that nitrates are another problem.
Yeah, especially if you're in an area where a farm is located. Like down the street from me, there's
Yeah, that's
a
right.
one neighbor farms over there. It's the amount of fertilizer and stuff that they're dumping, that's flowing off the property and finding its way into the.
A lot of
aquifer.
cows doesn't help either.
What was that?
A lot of cows could cause
Yeah,
problems.
true. However, we also like all that fresh milk.
Dan, do you think that's appropriate to just ask all the firms? I mean,
Yeah, I would think we'd have to ask all of them. I don't think we can play favorites or anything for that.
okay, yeah, so we can ask all, we can call around, Aaron can call around to everybody and let them know. We'll send them a letter or something, let them know, and would they consider providing a fee, a reasonable fee to,
We list the waste haulers now, don't we?
oh yeah, and we list the other,
Yeah.
water testing services.
Yeah. we
But
list
the
them.
health department's kind of, quote out right now, so, at the time, the board gave everybody like an extension. But that extension runs out at, March 31st, so.
So, question for you,
Mhm.
and it may require tinkering with the ordinance. So if someone signs up for public water and decides to keep their well, which we're allowing for through DTMA, you have to have it, there's a, particular process involved, obviously, in having the two systems separate.
Mhm.
Are you still going to require the well be tested for fecal coliform, even though it's not going to be used for drinking water?
Have they, so I mean, right now, I'll complicate it more. Right now, the ordinance only requires that people with an on-lot septic system and an on-lot well test the well
Okay.
once every 3 years. If people in the township who are hooked up to public sewer, but still have a well, they are not part of this program to have it tested for fecal coliform or anything once every 3 years. So
But
there's a whole.
rightfully, they should, because if they live next door to somebody that
it-
has an
I
on-lot
know,
system,
Correct.
right,
there's a good chance that
Yeah.
they could have contamination.
right. And I mean, let's take Pebble Ridge Woodridge for a minute. You're gonna have a lot of people who connect to the public sewer system who probably will no longer need to have their well water checked. But, you know, could be living next
Yeah, but
door.
my neighbor next door to me doesn't, or
Exactly, who
I have
doesn't
a
hook
neighbor on
up.
either side of me,
That's right.
If they don't hook up, yeah, I mean.
then I definitely should still be getting my well water tested.
Exactly. So, you know, you may want to take a look at that ordinance and make a recommendation to the board,
Yeah, by all means.
you know.
Why don't we make a new recommendation that everybody that has a private well, that has to be tested at least once every so many years? Don't just use the fact that you used to have a septic and now you don't. Just everybody that has a well should be tested 3 or 5 years on a regular basis.
Well,
I agree. I agree. Plus, somebody may drink out of the hose that's being used for watering the lawn or something like that. You know,
So the only thing that I want to just remind everybody that we shied away from after a lot of debate about having a mandate, you know, basically a directive that says you had to have your well water tested. You know, right now we're talking about the fecal coliform. You know, we were talking about getting a much broader water testing program at that point. We've all agreed that educational is the best way to go. To Stephanie's point, though, I think what we do need to do is take a look at the current wording to the requirement that's there and possibly get that amended. So could you send me that?
Yeah, if you guys want, I mean, actually, it's really easy. If you go to the township website, under code enforcement, the entire code book is there.
Yeah.
And so the ordinance for septic management is also there as well. We can send you the link, but
Okay.
it is, if you're ambitious and want to do it on your own.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
From an educational standpoint, how do you see the data and the information being presented? Do you see it being built into an existing site where it has somewhere to always live, or do you always see it being digital?
Yeah, I like visual. When we did the septic management program, it's really well done. First of all, it's not a lot of wording. You don't want paragraphs and lots of stuff that people have to read.
Right.
Very concise bullets, some visual aspects to go along with it that get your attention. I think would go a long way for doing the educational piece. And then having links, you can always have as many links. So if people really want to delve into it and get more information, let them explore.
Yeah, but you see it as really a digital.
I see it as a one-page digital visual aspect of, some visual component to it with bullets of information, and then some, links, at the bottom of the page to say, hey, if you want more information, this is where you can go.
What about, Aaron, what's the deadline for the next newsletter for them to write an article and give it to you?
So I don't know that offhand. I know it's coming up around the end of March, I believe,
Okay.
for articles.
So if you guys
We can
wanted
do
to
that.
work on an article about wells, private wells, well testing, things of that nature, websites that you could find information on, things like that, that could be helpful maybe.
So what I like to do is this, I like each one of us to come up with one bit of information, do your own research, let's come to the next meeting, everybody comes with one suggestion for the educational piece.
Why don't we try to, if we come up with, I like the idea, but why don't we try to send it to you or send it to someone so that we have a chance to look at it
Yeah,
before.
if you send it to me ahead of the meeting, I'll actually have it organized for everybody to
Yeah,
look
that way,
at.
that gives the
But
chance.
then you gotta get it to me at least,
A week.
a full week before the meeting, so I got time to do it.
Yeah, but I think that way, so we don't just get hit with it.
No, it's a good idea. You're right. It's a good idea, Will.
Do you have a window of, or a timeline where you would like it available?
Yeah, Stephanie just gave it to us. So by the end of March,
Well, that's the article.
Is that it?
I mean.
well, I think I see the same,
Well, if you come in
Page, the
before the February meeting, so,
right. So
yeah,
I'm saying take the article, the information that goes into the article is what should be the basis of what's our one-page link on the website.
mhm. Well, you might want to do this, maybe somebody wants to take the introduction, you know, we'll work the Central Bucks School District 5-paragraph essay here for the article. We all remember that as parents, right? You know, oh, Jan's, and maybe somebody wants to take the introduction, somebody wants to take maybe something, the conclusion, and maybe that'll be difficult until you see the 3 middle paragraphs, but, you know, you can do it that way. I mean, I think that's kind of what you're,
Yeah, that's an
Saying-
idea.
you know,
But it's one to at least get started with everybody getting
Yeah.
something.
Can you just clarify, so there's so many different topics that this could be about. Can you just clarify like so if we're looking to do this article, it's specifically about what you should test for with your well?
I think what you should be aware of that could potentially be in your well water. Like that one article I shared with everybody last time, the one that Wally was holding up before, that really focused on, in Pennsylvania, the two main things that you're looking for are fecal coliform and nitrates as a result of the amount of farms. And then after that, what else should you really be paying attention to?
and sites where you could, you know, maybe
Right.
somebody could work on what are some of the sites.
Yeah, and
You
then
know.
also what are some of the ways to not only do the testing, but, how do you maintain your well? I don't know what people do. I mean, I have on a regular basis a company that comes in, replaces the ultraviolet light every couple of years. They come out at the same time, they sanitize the well, they shock it. So at least I know I'm doing some level of maintenance and cleaning. But, if you don't have a system, some water softener or an ultraviolet light or something that someone's reaching out to you and you're just turning it on, year after year, who knows I have no idea what could possibly build up in the wellheads.
Yeah, I think that's a big question. What's in there?
What are you drinking?
What are you drinking? Tastes good.
So
There's
Jenny,
your
I think
title.
that's,
There's your title, what are you drinking?
right, I think that's part of the answer. What we're looking for is,
Yeah,
what is it that,
Alright, educate.
that's it. John came up with the title. What are you drinking?
How about what's in your private well water?
Yeah, what are you drinking in your what's in your private well
Yeah.
watter?
I think we need,
Are there space limitations for the article, Aaron?
we got another problem too.
yeah, I want to differentiate. So we predict the event.
You're muted, Aaron.
Yeah, Jenny, I heard your question. No, I don't have any real constraints at this point.
If you want, I think at the last meeting, I had shared some of the resources that are available through the Penn State Extension Office. I mean, if you want, I know they have at least one article that's just sort of general, like these are the common pollutants in Pennsylvania that you should be looking for. If you want, I can pull that, I can contact the extension agent who wrote it and just ask if we have permission to reproduce it. I'm sure we do, because the whole point of their program is education. I mean, we
Yeah,
could
I mean,
kind of
that's-
use that as a starting point
That's a-
and ask if we
Yeah.
could adapt it.
That's a good idea.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
No reason to reinvent the wheel.
No,
We'll
Just
give
make
credit.
it, just
We'll
make
give
it
them
better.
credit. Yeah,
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm sure, I mean, that's kind of the whole purpose of the office is education. So I'm sure they, as long as we attribute it to them, I'm sure they would let us use pieces of what they've already written.
All right, does anybody else have any other comments or suggestions before we break for the evening? Dan, from a supervisor standpoint, what are your thoughts about the direction that we're looking ahead in?
I mean, I think, what we talked, there's not much appetite on the board and what we talked about here for doing any kind of testing program. And I think, the educational piece is the way to go. And I would say even just starting with the newsletter and taking that information, seeing how else we might be able to adapt it into other educational materials like pamphlets or something that we have at the front desk or things like that.
And my thought is something that would live on the township website, like the septic
Yep.
management program information does.
Yeah, the more places people can see it, the better.
All right, anything else from the group?
Yeah, maybe we'll work our way up to working with Tab and doing the video.
There you go.
That would be nice.
We become a little animated character that,
Whatever.
goes
Yeah,
into your
You
well.
have your power, I said PowerPoint.
Yes, by February 5th is the deadline. I'll have it within the next
Little
week.
video.
Yeah, I'll have it within the next week.
Okay.
Joe, are there other ways we could send this information out, like postings in some of the local newspapers and grocery stores? That's probably a wild example, but are there other places we can post this publicly other than the township?
I'm sure there's social media links
Yes.
and whatnot that we could utilize. They replaced the bulletin board in the grocery store a while ago. However, to your point,
The patch,
Somebody
like you
said-
can post things on the patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we can get it to them. It's sort of like a press release, sharing information,
John, my accountant did send to me today his annual pocket, calendar with the atlas in the back and all that kind of stuff, which I
Right.
think he's still doing, but he's right there with the old bulletin board and grocery store.
But I'm wondering if there's other ways rather than the website.
I think what Stephanie was just saying,
yeah. Jenny.
and Jennifer, there are plenty of, most people nowadays go to a particular local website, chat areas where people get together that are, that would be good for posting it. It'll find its way around from there.
Bucks County Herald probably just square it.
The
and say,
Herald.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, people.
Okay, well, that'll be part of what we should look at when we tie this all together. On that note, if there's nothing else, I will see everybody next month. Just let us know ahead of time who wants to come in person and who will be attending by Zoom. This way, I don't drive Stephanie crazy having to do a fire drill getting out of her office at the last minute.
Thank
Okay?
you, Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Take
everybody.
care, everybody. Be
Take
safe.
care.
Bye.